Hello, I'm Lizzy.
And I'm Izzy, and we need help.
Each week we stumble through a new book, method, or concept that brings us one step closer to being our best self.
Yes, we make fun of ourselves.
And others.
But mostly just ourselves. So here's to not taking self-help quite so seriously.
Welcome to We Need Help. I'm Lizzy.
And I'm Izzy, and today we're going to talk about the depressed people in our lives and how we need help with them. But first, hilarious stories.
Well, yeah, let me talk about something that is not hilarious. Today, I started a parasite cleanse.
I've done those. Yeah.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Okay, these are things people don't talk about, huh?
I did it a long time ago, so I never felt the need to talk about it. So,
I feel like I'm learning. Okay,
I did a long time ago.
I took the first pill, which has ivermectin and the other drug that's been linked to
Treating COVID?
to curing cancer.
Okay.
It's called benbendazole. So
Dude, they just like make up these names.
They just freaking make
Let's
this stuff up.
Bendazole.
Yeah.
Zol at the end of it indicates that it's a drug.
So there's this company called Free Range Supplements, and it's Paragonics is the one I'm doing. So they're welcome to, if they want to sponsor us, that's fine. But I'm going to tell you, I've taken one pill.
And you crapped out a worm?
I'm terrified to look and see if I see a worm, you're going to have to peel me off.
I think parasites are like, they're like so microscopic that you can't even see them. I'm assuming.
Okay. I'm hoping, because if I see a worm come out of me, everyone should know I'm going to be I'm going to need a straitjacket. But I am telling you, I've been sitting down. Holy shit. After one pill, I can't even imagine.
It's cleansing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to be like bikini ready in 3 days. I mean, there's no way. This is crazy.
Sounds healthy.
So, I think we should do an episode on parasites.
Let's do it. Let's do the next. Maybe. Yeah. Let's do it. Yes.
We will.
Yeah,
yes, this is happening. Okay.
Cool. So
how was your weekend? I know that you had a rough weekend.
Yeah. There was a huge conference that we were supposed to go to on Saturday. And then, yeah, it was just a rough weekend because my father-in-law's not well, physically. And it's not a big surprise because he sits around watching TV all day long and he doesn't move. And then when he moves,
is that not good? Hold on.
He's like, I don't understand why I feel bad. And he had, I don't know what they're called, like a sleepless night. And then he kept falling. Like, it was just horrendous. And we were like,
doesn't he he has something though, right?
He has Lewy body dementia, which is what Robin Williams had, which it impairs your mind and body. And, there's aspects, he doesn't have Parkinson's, but he has Parkinsonism, which is like he has aspects of Parkinson's. So his legs aren't working very well. He shakes a lot and he's confused a lot, which is, it's really difficult to live with.
It's really hard to take care of aging parents that are in that state. I got to tell you, Jason's mom, she like put herself in this adult community. Like it's basically a resort for old people. Yeah. So we don't have to take care of her. Like she was so forward thinking. Like she did not want that for, I don't think I think she didn't want us taking care of her.
It's so interesting because this is the US and the UK, people are like on board. Like parents are like, yeah, I'll go to the home. In Poland, there's this cultural expectation that you take care of your parents. Like they move in with you. My mom, thankfully, is like, just put me in a home. Like she doesn't want to be a burden. So she's the same way. She's like, just when the time comes, just put me in a home. I don't want you taking care of me.
Well, in like our family, it's kind of an honor to take care of the
Mm,
older people in it. So like my mom was like took care of
mm,
my grandma took care of like my great grandmas, like we were active part of their
yeah.
lives and like so I think it's like and there is like something about grandparents and grandchildren like living closely together, I think is really good. But once like with this dementia that's happening and with these different kind of I want to call them like mental disorders, but
Mm.
they have like they're really hard to care for. It's so scary to take care of your parents like this.
It's scary because they're like toddlers, but they're big. So with a toddler,
Yeah.
you can just kind of pick him up and put him under your arm and give him a hug and he'll calm, but with a person who's a large size, it's like that's what's scary. It's like he falls, he'd like he'll crack the floor and a rib, and a hip.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And just like that, I think that's what's really scary. And then yeah, it's just physically difficult. And I've never experienced it because my grandparents have all either just lived alone until the day they died. So all my
Yeah.
grandparents have been very self-sufficient. Like my grandmother was still driving at 93.
Yeah. Mine
Um,
too. Like my grandparents were all like that until my grandma
very
took a fall.
self-sufficient.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard, man. And it's also hard when it's like nobody talks about this. It's hard when it's not your dad.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's like
it
I don't
is.
mind like wiping my own dad's ass, but I don't want to wipe Jason's dad's ass. I mean, he would never have allowed me to,
Wipe
trust
his
me.
ass, right?
Yeah, but like, when it's not your parents, it's really weird.
Yeah, I think it's like what is it called? Like a merry-go. What is it? A merry-go-round or like whatever, like a self-fulfilling thing where he knows he has to move to feel better, but he doesn't move. So then when he does, he feels worse, and it's just like a perpetual mobile or whatever it's called. Like it's just like this circle of suffering. Um, yeah,
Circle of suffering. I like
circle of
that.
suffering. Yeah.
It's the circle of suffering. Just join it or get
That's what I'm
out. You
gonna
gotta
name
hop out.
it. Yeah.
I like that. Because you know
But
what? That
yeah.
is true. We are all in a circle of suffering in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. One thing that it did has done for me is I will I, I see myself in a few years, so I'm like, I'm gonna start exercising every day and being healthy because I don't want to end up where he's at, because at some point he stopped exercising and zero muscle mass. He's just got skin and bones, big tummy.
Yeah.
It's and he just doesn't look well and he doesn't feel well and it's sad. So it just got me to thinking like, "Ooh, you just have to start taking care of yourself."
Yeah. Nothing he like moves you like the fear of becoming, like when you see aging like that,
Yeah.
like when you see aging in its worst forms,
Yeah.
and it's like terrifying. I mean, it really is.
Yeah. So
But
how's your weekend? Your weekend looked amazing. I saw some pictures. They look so amazing.
I have the greatest friends. I've just
Yeah.
recently like I to be a good friend is like it's like superwoman status. And I've had friends just send me random gifts. I've
Mm.
had friends, my friend Ashley sent me 8 pineapples from Maui. She's out
I saw
there.
that. I'm like, this is
Yeah,
amazing because the
yeah,
pineapples there taste different. They hit different than the
they hit different.
pineapples here. They really do.
I'm like, and then sh my friend Amy sent me some uh amazing. What's our scent that we like in London? I can't remember it.
Oh,
We love it.
yeah, I hear you. Yeah, that
I
one.
can't wait. Why I can't think of it is,
Yeah, yeah.
but she noticed it in my bathroom when she was here a year ago and sent me my scent of, God damn it, what is the name of that?
It's not
It's
Cade Lavender.
Joe
It's
Malone.
Joe Malone. Joe Malone. Joe
Yeah,
Malone.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like she's just like very thoughtful. And then she said, and then we were going over for a or a family day at my friend Lena's, and she made it about me and my birthday because we didn't get to celebrate it.
That's amazing.
And like got me these wonderful, this lounge wear that she knew I would love. And just, people, there's something to be said about friends that just won't take no for an answer when it comes to celebrating you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
that's amazing.
oh, so good. It makes life worth living. I'm so grateful for it. If I had to say anything, cultivate friendship, people,
Yeah.
because it just is the difference between a life of shit and a life of, I mean, it's just crazy. And you have to like cultivate new friendships too, because you outgrow some of your other friendships.
Yeah.
It's like I look back and I couldn't possibly be friends with somebody I was when I was at my lowest. But it's just I feel so good about my friends right now.
Yeah. Yeah. You looked so happy in the pictures and like it's nice because you're usually the one doing stuff like that. So it's nice that somebody did it for you.
Well, my friend Lena is really like she's very thoughtful. She's incredible. Like for
Yeah.
stuff like that, she made me feel really special. So,
Yeah.
I think that like if we would just try to make the people we love in our life feel special all the time, it would be like a real game changer.
Yeah. But I think most people like you're either a giver or a taker. And I think most people are takers, at least the ones I come across. So it's nice
Yeah.
to have like you have givers around you as well.
You have to. If you're a giver, you have to surround yourself with givers.
But then again, I think you have to look at your own energy because obviously, if you're a giver, that's what you're going to attract. You're going to attract takers so then you can give. But it's also important to like like actively seek the givers, like
Yeah.
actively
Well,
seek the givers and give to them because you don't
yes.
get it a lot, like
Yep.
people just take.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, that was my weekend.
Oh, sounds lovely.
So we had already recorded this once and
Yeah.
we like it wasn't good enough. It
Yeah.
wasn't vulnerable enough. It wasn't real enough. And
Yeah.
we both thought we could do better.
Yeah.
So let's like actually talk about what it's like to live with somebody who's depressed.
And
And
I want to like mention something, and I think the reason I held back last episode is because I have lived with people who weren't diagnosed as depressed, but they were just chronically miserable. So
Mhm.
I think that's where I was like, wait a second. I'm like, I'm talking about depression is clinically diagnosed depression, but then there's also like this living with people who are just chronically miserable. That maybe
Yeah.
they're not officially depressed, but they're just miserable. So
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter
yeah,
what it says in your medical chart. Like
yeah,
if you're down and I mean, we're talking about people that aren't happy.
yeah,
They're not like they're just not happy and they're for whatever reason,
yeah.
you know. Um it could be parasites. It could be, I mean, it could be gut health or whatever the hell. Like it could
Lack
be
of
a serotonin.
testosterone. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I mean, there are so many reasons that I mean, these are our bodies are like crazy machines that we've affected with so many toxins and, different generational trauma. We've like, there's all kinds of things that
Screens,
go,
just screens, like this dopamine, like this instant gratification overload.
oh my God, like there's all our food sources are tampered with. So, like, I mean, depression is a word we're using in the way that you're living with somebody who is taking your energy or you're
Yeah.
allowing to take your energy.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about today. And we've both been those people.
Yeah.
So we can talk pretty freely about it.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, I grew up, my mom was depressed. She was a depressive person.
Yeah, I think
And
you mentioned before she had like manic depression. So she had very depressive episodes and then very happy episodes. But what was it like
yeah.
living with her during those depressive episodes?
Well, when you don't know any other way, I literally never had a mom that wasn't a manic depressed, like, so,
Yeah.
when you're a kid, it's very different. And now looking back, I realize it was a bit more dysfunctional than I thought then. But I learned very quickly that if she was down for 3 days, we were going to get a good week after that. And she was going to
Okay.
be on a high. So I would just try to, weather the storm, take care of my sister, make the meals, cuddle with my mom, which was terrifying, when she's sad and crying.
Mm,
And she would like want me to be, you
the
know,
relief.
the relief for her.
Yeah.
And I mean, that became my role in life.
Yeah. Was
And
that like scary for you? Were you afraid? Because I
yes.
remember being in school and I remember being afraid that I would come home and my mom wouldn't be alive because it was that kind of sadness.
Mhm.
And so I remember being terrified in school, and I remember going to the payphone in school and just ringing just to see if she would answer. And that's it. And it was like this, it overwhelms you as a child. I don't know how
Yeah,
you
it's
felt during
too
that time.
much. It's
Mm-hmm.
too much. And I remember she would have like anxiety attacks and it would
Mm-hmm.
but she had said that she had a heart condition and I was terrified and it
Yeah.
just like it was a lot. Like I tried to ease her pain all the time during those times. I mean, let's be clear. My mother was 19 when she gave birth to me.
I don't even
Like,
know. Like,
you don't know what the frick you're
wow.
doing at that
Wow.
point. It's like I don't even I mean, I think of myself at 22, I was a freaking basket case.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, so I
Yeah.
really don't blame her for any of that, but I just, it's like it was hard and it was too much pressure on me.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I feel that from another woman, I get very nervous now.
It's so interesting that you say that because whenever I get that energy that I got from my mom in childhood, I get it from a different woman. I get angry. It's really interesting. Like, I don't get
Mm.
nervous, I get mad. Like, I dislike the person. It's very interesting what happens
That's
later.
crazy.
Yeah.
That is so crazy. Hey guys, remember to go to We Need Help, the podcast, for all different kinds of stuff like our swag. You can find the episodes, you can find the books that we're focusing on, all the methodologies. Please go to We Need Help, the podcast today and enjoy the rest of the episode.
How's your mom now? And like, how is the relationship? Because she still has depression, but oh wait, I know
Yeah,
your mom. She's
bipolar,
always,
you don't just get rid
yeah,
of.
you don't just like, it's not, you don't grow out of it.
No, it's not something you grow
But
out of.
how has your relationship being, next to a person who has had this for years, how has your relationship evolved in this?
My brother basically died from bipolar.
Mm,
So, he was bipolar and he committed suicide.
mm,
But, we didn't know. My mom kind of raged against bipolar when she was a kid because my grandmother had her put in the hospital several times and then put
mm.
on lithium and all kinds of shit. I mean, they don't have what they have today as
No,
far
they
as like
don't.
it was
Yeah.
really, really kind of nasty. And there was such a stigma around um mental health that you would not believe back then. I mean, we weren't even allowed to tell people my mom had bipolar
Yeah.
or manic depression. Um, but now, I mean, she has fought the good fight. She's always trying to do what she can do. Um, you know, it's like she still has highs and lows, but she's on medication to help that. She tries different things. Um, it's just here's what we know about depression on the outside, but when you're living with it, it doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, that's
On the
that's what.
outside,
Mhm.
it's a sickness and you know that they cannot help it.
Yeah.
But on the inside, you are, I mean, it can be exhausting.
I'm mad. I get mad.
So let's talk about you because I don't have a depressed, my partner's not depressed.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think
Because,
like
but
I'll tell you about the
several of my,
evolution because when I met my partner, he wasn't depressed, right? He was like carefree and the world was our oyster. And I remember like
happy.
happy, happy, happy. And then there was like a series of really hard life events.
Mhm.
Losing the job, his mother died. Um,
Unexpectedly.
Unexpectedly, we moved countries. It was like
Ugh.
those all those things that they list on like the stress list. It was like the top three, right?
Okay. Oh, and you
Um,
guys were trying to have a baby
right, which and then
is
it
a
was like
lot.
this infertility. Then I got cancer. Like just a
Oh my
lot
God.
happened, you know. Um,
Oh,
and
is that all?
yeah, and so suddenly he started having bad days, right? Which I just said, all those things that happened, he's allowed to have bad days. So I didn't really say anything or react. But then it was turning into bad weeks and then bad months. And I was like, what do I do here? Like, how do I support? How do I help? So I did the wrong thing,
Oh,
which
good.
is, yeah,
That I like to do first
I'm
too.
going to fix it.
It
Which now, that I've
looks like we should be bucking up when we're not.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, let me fix this. This is a problem. I'm going to fix it.
Yeah.
So I would just make suggestions on what he needs to do to fix it. But yeah, I would just I think I was get angry because I'm not like that. Like I have a different way of reacting to things. Um, and I wasn't accepting of his reactions and I just wanted to like live my life and then here's a person who's not with me anymore. Like we're not, on the same path. So there was like a lot of anger. There's a lot of like me trying all sorts of ways to
Hmm.
manipulate him into getting better, which was like, I'm going to be
Well,
understanding. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to kick his ass. I'm going to do this. Nothing was working.
the word manipulate, you were literally just trying to manage both of your lives for,
Yeah.
it's like, manipulate sounds bad, but
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, when you got a 200-pound man, you're holding on your back, trying
Yeah.
to carry along in life.
Yeah.
I mean, manipulate, that's you really you want to catch the whole house on fire and be like, okay, guys, like we promised each other when we got together we would be doing this life together. That's what you don't get with somebody and think, okay, I'm going to be pulling you at every little thing and forcing you to be happy, and
Yeah.
it just
And I think the most frustrating thing is, and maybe this is what you experienced with your mom when you did live with her, is there's good moments and bad moments. So when the good moments come, you're like, oh, it's fine now. And then
it's over.
suddenly, yeah, it's
Yeah.
over. And then suddenly there's a bad moment. And I mean, there's so many frustrating things. Like, I always wonder, and we talked about this, like, why can't my power bring him up? Like, why is he sucking me down? Like that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
like and you feel really powerless because you think I should have enough power for the both of us, and then
Yeah.
instead like you get sucked down in like ways that you don't imagine. Like you start feeling guilty about um enjoying yourself,
Hmm.
because somebody's next to you is not enjoying themselves. So you kind of tone yourself down not to overdo it.
Tone
So
your joy.
tone your joy. So I stopped doing that. And I think the other thing is um, they feel guilty because they realize that they're doing it. And I
Well,
don't
my
know if
mom
you're,
said that because I
yeah,
called and talked to my mom about this. She's
yeah,
real open about her depression, and I think that's the best thing that um you know, I think that she finally, after my brother passed, I think she finally was like, okay, hiding the lows is not doing anything for anybody except for making them ashamed, you know,
yeah,
like I think after my brother died, like she kind of, I mean, she had a really rough time. Like it's been, you know, she she leaned into and coped
yeah,
with alcohol and the whole thing. But I think, at the end of the day, I think she finally just said, okay, like, okay, I have lows,
yeah,
you know, but I called and talked to her and she said that the immense depression of looking into like Katie and my eyes when we were disappointed because it was a 3-day break and she couldn't get out of bed and she was having anxiety. I mean, she was like, she'd
mm,
be like sitting there like having a heart, felt like she was having a heart attack.
yeah,
And I'd like crawl into bed with her and like soothe her. You know, I wish that back then, and I think now, like if she had just said, this is how I get, and she would have accepted herself and not tried to rage and fight about it, might have been better,
yeah.
you
I think
know?
acceptance is a huge, on both sides. I think
Yeah.
it's a huge, like, that's one of the tools that should be like used, like acceptance on both sides, like accepting, like, this is how I am sometimes, and that's okay. And, we're just going to deal with it. Because what happens is, and I think this happened with your mom, and I think this happens with my partner too, is that they try to snap out of it and it doesn't work, and then they feel
Even worse. That's what she
even
said.
worse, because they
And I
feel like a
said,
failure.
because I knew we were doing this,
Yeah,
I said, Mom, what would you say to a partner? Because I was thinking of like you.
yeah, yeah,
And she said, if I, if I had to say something to a partner now after getting with him, she would say, I want to be all the things when I'm up, but I can't right now. If you want to stay with me, you have to know this is a part of me.
yeah.
And I'm like, and I've another one of my dearest friends has a a partner that has been depressed the whole time I've known them. Like he doesn't like to be a part of
Sorry.
things.
Yeah,
And she accepts it about him and
yeah,
she lives her life. She takes the kids. She doesn't, he's actually gotten a little better lately, but like,
yeah,
you know, it's part of you, these lows. I mean, we all have lows, but their lows are just lower.
yeah. And I think what helps lately, I've been like, I've just had to put aside all my methods and tried new methods, right?
Okay.
One of the methods is what you suggested to me. Rather than saying, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, is let's,
Us.
so
It's an us thing.
us
Yeah.
thing rather than the you thing, because then they feel even worse when it's the you, because you are broken, you go fix it, this is what you need to do. But hey, we're in this together, I'm with you, let's do this, right? So one thing is the hormonal thing, which I was like, okay, let's get the hormones. I was always saying, you need to get your hormones tested, you need to get your hormones tested, and it would just there was overwhelm. So it's like, hey, I'll make an appointment and we'll get our hormones tested,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's something you suggested, and that works, instead of you need to do this, making it a we thing.
That's a parenting thing that I picked up on real
Yeah.
early is like when Scarlett was learning her manners. And I would say, well, instead of saying you need to say please and thank you, it's we're a please and thank you family.
I love
We're
that.
like that kind of thing. And it really actually does take all the sting off of any of those kind of conversations.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've stopped using you, because I was using that the whole time. And ever since I started using the we conversations, things have gotten much better.
Yeah.
Things have gotten much better. And then also working on yourself. I think if you're in a relationship or you have a partner who's depressed, not to allow their disease to be contagious to you, which
Mm,
is hard. So,
that's hard.
and realizing that you can't fix it. So I joined a support group for it was women who had similar partners, and there was a line that one woman wrote in there as a comment, "You are not his dopamine fix." Girl,
Mm.
I was like, that's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to make him feel better. I'm not his dopamine fix. And that was an important
Doesn't
thing.
it? It
Yeah.
it chaps my ass, and maybe I'm the like, okay, we're talking about this. This is a
Yeah.
problem for both of us because it is.
Yeah.
Why not go get help?
To
Well,
be
and I know
fair,
he has. I know
yeah,
he
he
has.
has. Yeah,
But
but
I'm just saying,
others,
like
yeah.
other, like
Yeah, yeah.
I'm always like, and I guess maybe because I look at my mom and I know she's tried a lot of things to
Yeah.
get like
Yeah.
tons of help. And it's just like sometimes I'm like, why wouldn't you get help and make things better? You know, I I'm always looking at things like, okay, is this making us better or worse? And if it's
Yeah.
making us worse, can we get help for it? Like,
Yeah.
what can we do differently?
Yeah. And I think if there's the willingness from the other side, which in my case there is, that's great. But I'll tell you, I have a friend, he's not willing. So they had to separate, which was so heartbreaking. And
Yeah,
it was so frustrating. We had so many conversations, and she was like, would call me and she's like, I don't understand why he's not willing because he's got
right.
such a wonderful thing here. But sometimes I don't know if it's karma. I don't know if it's just fear. I don't know what it is, but sometimes it's like with your mom, like she just could not get out of bed. They just can't go there. Yeah, it's so frustrating because you see their
It's hard.
potential, and yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
it's
the
like, okay.
worst.
Oh my God, that's the worst because
Yeah.
there's no dumb depressives. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, they're all brilliant in some
Like
way.
my
Yeah.
mom's a genius.
Yeah.
My friend's husband is extraordinarily
Yeah.
intelligent. I obviously I Maciek is very, very, very gifted in so many different ways. And it's
Yeah.
like you never meet. But my mom always said, I wish I was happy just to tie my shoes.
Yeah, that's so funny that she said that because yesterday I was just sitting out on the lawn and my dog was like laying like next to me and she just like licked my hand and there was a butterfly and I was like, "Oh my God, I love life." And I felt really sad because I don't think my partner like really appreciates these little tiny beautiful miracle things, and it made me sad, and maybe he will get there, but like I'm one of those people. Like I was happy just like the butterfly flying by and the fact that it
Yeah.
was a sunny day and that my dog licked my hand, like
Well, yeah,
yeah.
there is something to that. There's something to feeling every moment in the moment rather than looking at the,
Mm,
horrid parts of the past or like my mom is famous and we joke about this all the time. The only way you can get a picture up in your house in her house is if you're dead. She'll look around the table and see who's not there and
yeah.
be upset about it.
Yeah.
Now, she's not so much like that anymore, but like after my brother passed, after her brother passed, after,
Yeah.
we had the loss of my son, and it was just like a lot of my mom just got like into this grief thing.
Hmm.
And she just would like she was always depressed and sad because of who wasn't there. I'm like, hey, but like we're still here. Like we're here. Like
Yeah.
just be happy, we're just be happy because we're here. And that's not the right thing to do. Just so you know, don't like point out
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was so we were gonna do a book, but it was kind
the
of
book was stupid that we
it
were
was stupid,
doing.
so we're
And
not gonna,
like,
yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna
yeah,
say I'm not throwing any author under the bus, but
no,
um so but part of it was don't just tell them to be positive, focus on this. Like don't tell them what to do. Like that's not you want to be a partner with them through this,
when
like
do you
a
say,
fellow
when do you
traveler.
say, when do you
Yeah.
say uncle though? When do you
I
say
think
uncle?
I think as my friend, when you decide that this is no longer the life that you would like, and
Yeah.
that's it. And that's not on them. That's on you. So
Yeah.
I
It's
think
not them. It's you.
so I think that's where you have to say, am I willing to do this anymore or no? And that's on you, not them.
Yeah.
So it's about saying uncle with yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Like
Yeah.
when it's no longer, uh, let's be, the days of martyrism are, we've proven that is not, to sacrifice your life for another is just not, I mean, you do it in small bursts,
Yeah.
but a lifetime of martyrism is not
Yeah.
sustainable. It's not,
Yeah, my mentor always says, "Get off the cross, we need the wood." Like, come
yeah,
on, like you're not
just
competition for Christ here. Like,
no, exactly. I love that. And or I wonder, you can love someone and say this is too much,
yeah.
you
And I
know.
think if in my situation, if I didn't see the trying and the attempts, and if there was no moments of joy, and then if I didn't start working, because I started working on myself to not dim my light so it doesn't blind somebody else, like I'm just going to
Yeah.
continue to be the bright light. I'm okay. Yeah, but there's, my friend who she could no longer, there was zero budging. There was like, it
Yeah.
was, and she woke up one day and she was just like, I just can't anymore. And it's that feeling inside,
Yeah.
like,
It's just too much sometimes. And I think that we need to forgive ourselves for that too.
yeah,
You know, in all of our relationships. I mean, God, I've had so many friends where like they're just emotional vampires. Like they just take energy. And
mm,
I've gotten like immediately gotten irritated and angry. And then I've been like, okay, wait a second. This is not them. This is me. I can't deal with this. I
yeah,
am like, take responsibility, but they don't want to be wrong.
yeah, yeah. For me,
They
I,
don't,
I always use this analogy with people who stay in relationships like that. Like you are sitting in the beehive and you are complaining that the bees are stinging you and you're doing it over and over and you're blaming the bees. Get out of the hive if you can't take it.
yeah.
Get out of the hive. What are you sitting in the hive for? And like, oh, the bee's going to sting you because that's what
Grab
bees do.
yourself a little hate, honey, and get the hell out of there. Oh my God. Sorry, we
So,
were getting too serious. Like it's
yeah.
like
A little hate, honey.
a
But
little
yeah,
hate,
that's
honey.
but yeah, I think it's extremely hard and I think you tend to think they're the ones that need help, they're the ones that need therapy, but it might be you actually also. So taking a look at that.
I truly believe that if you that was one of the things I was going to say has you know get care yourself. Like if you want them to get help, I've always seen like this in
Yeah.
alcoholics, like
Yeah.
with their codependence, because alcoholism can't survive without codependence.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, okay, you are fucking staying there. You get the therapy, you
Yeah.
know, and see what happen. Maybe like maybe you are the problem.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And I hate when codependents expect their partners to like go to
Get
therapy,
help
get help,
and
but
they
they won't do
won't.
it themselves. It's like, what?
Oh my God. I can't tell you how many times,
Yeah.
you know, I've seen people like whenever there's somebody in my life that is doing me wrong or I've noticed has a like real problem,
Yeah.
I always go directly to therapy.
Yeah.
I always go directly in one shape or form or another,
Yeah.
but I always get my own help because why the hell am I putting up with this? Why the
Yeah.
hell am I like allowing this in my life? And then usually it is me. Usually I have a weird expectation. Usually I have I'm expecting them to be a different person than they are.
Yeah. And that it's that delusion that if they change, then I'll be better, which
Mhm.
may be true, but it's not reality. Like, they may never change. So
I
can I
mean, it's
be?
just a real good way to be a
Yeah.
victim.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so, yeah, get therapy. I mean, I feel like after this podcast, I want therapy. bad.
Oh,
Well, I mean, like just thinking about how many times like my mom needed like to for me to soothe her, that's weird.
yeah. Yeah. Well, you're a kid, but you do take some of those behaviors into adulthood.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've known that about myself. So I'm
Yeah.
now like I'm really good with seeing that,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in somebody else.
Yeah. Good.
Well, I love you and I
I
can't
love
wait
you
to do
too.
the episode on parasites
That's going to be so cool. That's
as
going to
we
be really
speak.
cool.
Parasites are dying inside of me.
I can hear them. Oh, my stomach just growled. I think the parasites are like, no, don't.
Not it, Uncle. No.
All right. Well, I love you.
I love you too. I'll see you next
See
Tuesday.
you next Tuesday.
Thank you so much for joining us this week on We Need Help, the podcast.
Make sure to like, subscribe, like again our YouTube channel, our Instagram, follow us wherever you can. It really, really helps us out and ensures that you won't miss any future episodes. So, yep, thanks to you, we can keep going.
We'll see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.